So anyway, as far as DHS, BPD, Epstein, defense attorney, PI, all of the above, an agent for Epstein's defense team, which includes local lawyers, judges like Judge Hoare, quite possibly Judge Freitz and the other judge who signed off on that sham of a restraining order against me filed by Autumn Caton. And the local government contracted charities that are involved in the frauds with my ex-boyfriend and employer, attorney C. Chad Crona JD, and he was my attorney as well. All of this could be vetted with simple interviews with any lawyers who know I'm not an attorney. I didn't even graduate high school. So when I start reciting and telling them how to vet what I'm saying, that not only did I work for him, he was also my attorney because he gave me so much intimate, sophisticated information about how I was erased as an unpaid agent of the executive branch and wrongfully imprisoned based on the Brady violations by both the healthcare establishment and the legal establishment or justice system, Jim Crow, Joe Biden justice system, Zionist Nazi justice system, Epstein allied Ghislaine Maxwell, we own the police justice system. Anyway, Autumn was not the only one. She's one of many. And they had her coincidentally on the bus with me or at the Green Mountain Transit Station with me. Everything's on video. And I have absolute confidence that Dan, the head of security at GMT, is probably very much cooperating with Hochul's independent DOJ investigation that actually started long before she was governor. Her husband, Bill Hochul, was a Western District of New York federal prosecutor. I filed my SEC whistleblower complaints, I believe in October or September of 2019. They raided Buffalo City Hall and a bogus HUD charity that Brown was involved in just a couple of months later, the day after her investigators let me know about it, and they tested me 6 ways to Sunday to make sure, I'm not going to go into all that, but they made sure I wasn't prone to just making allegations. And what they found out was that you have to piss me off pretty bad for me to make any type of criminal allegation. And they after they were done with their interview, which happened at a bus stop, they said, "You're a good cop being murdered by bad cops. You're out here trying to help people." So, guaranteed, they have me under investigation 24/7. They have me under surveillance 24/7. If I was stalking anybody, they'd know about it. What's more, because she's stalking me along with Becky Burrell and her friend Michael and some other guy that's a security guard and a meter maid for the city of Burlington, and about 40 or 50 other unlicensed PIs. Some are just snitches that were turned out by Dr. Lincoln at Safe Harbor or Paul at the the outreach guy at Howard Center, him and whoever else. Some of them were handled by a new place, Kevin Pounds and Heather Bush and several others that were employed there when they used to have the Champlain Inn, as well as the director of the pods. Don't know her name, just recently met her. And they give them beds and housing, and some of them now have beds at Champlain Place under CBOYO that also made sure there wasn't a proper assessment and referral to victim services. And what's more, when you're a domestic violence victim of a cop, and other cops and other police agents who create evidence that are used by the prosecutor are all systemically falsifying records, you absolutely know the prosecutor. Hey, we're all like, you're getting a whole lot of false evidence, which luckily I'm pretty sure Sheriff George already knew that. Um, so basically, the use of Autumn Caton as an idiotic PI serves many purposes. One, to try to figure out who's keeping me alive and who my real victims advocates are through any of these local agencies that are assisting Governor Hochul. They could work for her directly, they could work for Sarah George, they could work for Mulvaney Stanek, they could work for, and she was a rep before she was a mayor, Becca Ballant, the Sheriff's Department, Cousy, Essex PD, who knows. So many of their purposes to cozy up to me, whether it's a honeypot or just trying to be my friend, or sometimes they have them play victims of police misconduct, so I'll like have sympathy for them and go try to advocate for them, which proves they know I'm the one honoring my oath to actually help people who are victims of Brady violations and civil rights violations and due process violations. That's a big tell right there. But their purpose is also to cause problem, go and get people arrested that I've talked to, and then have somebody else say, "Oh yeah, Heather works for Homeland Security. She got you arrested. She's a snitch." It's called snitch shacketing, and there's plenty of coverage on various podcasts about how that is standard with local and federal law enforcement. That's a standard operating procedure. Illegal as hell, but they don't care. I mean, these are Epstein's partners in crime. So another objective is for them to make false criminal allegations against me, and then the police have manufactured probable cause to roll up and get in my face. The last time that happened was at Hannaford on New Year's Eve. I believe it was 2023 or 2024. And they rolled up on my friend Alfonso, his girlfriend Jana, and me for stuff that I promise you, if anybody else had called, they would not have rolled up. I've called them for worse, and they didn't show up. Sometimes they didn't take a report at all, even when I was reporting somebody impersonating law enforcement. In writing. So another reason is to their bogus pelvic floor diagnosis, basically to smear my father. They're saying that my father's a military criminal investigator. What kind, I don't know. All that's classified. He was a cryptologist. We're both autistic savants. He worked under Kennedy, worked closely with Bob McNamara during the Cuban Missile Crisis. Basically a strategist and a spook, an assassin. Though because he's Native American, he doesn't get rank. He's enlisted, no rank, no pay, no credit. He knows the Kennedys are just as corrupt as the people who assassinated them. So he's kind of like he's got the goods on everybody. Let's just put it that way. So they're saying that I'm trauma bonded to him and covering for him as his victim and my mother's victim. And that I'm now refusing cancer treatment because I'm so depressed and just trauma bonded. And just gonna, kind of off myself, basically to offset their criminal liability when I'm recording them refusing to do any type of proper workup or make any referrals to GYN oncology. Not that I would trust GYN oncology here or anywhere else, since the whole system is corrupt. Also, Autumn Caton and her friend Becky Burrell and some other girl were impersonating victims advocates and agents for Sarah George, the Chittenden County State's Attorney, Senator Bernie Sanders, and they were working with some City Hall staffer and Park Ranger Preston, who was impersonating agents of Mulvaney Stanek. That's not to say that the mayor did not let him come out there, but I don't think he told the mayor the truth. She just pretended to go along with his lies, which she clearly already knew better. But they're basically impersonating progressive law enforcement, which speaks to the fact that they know damn well what they're doing is wrong. And they do that so that I will trust them. And then when I get confessions out of their other idiotic teammates who end up, I trigger them into bragging about being best friends with Mayor Weinberger and working for Cuomo and working for Trump and working for Byron Brown and working for my ex-boyfriend, Jack Cronin, who works for all of the above. What they then do is they come around and they say, oh, no, he's just a moron. He doesn't work for no police. So they're trying to convince me, they're trying to give themselves some sort of clout and credibility so that I won't keep calling police on their other partners. Like Bill Kinnear, I say, I'm calling the police. He says, I am the police. And then when he follows me on Church Street and the state police are there who are investigating based on my conversation with them, they knew what happened in real time. They didn't ask any names or location, yet they go right to the place where it happened, where Bill Kinnear was stalking me, and I filmed it. I said, oh, you're the police, are you? Come on down here and tell the state police how you get to follow me as a police investigator. Come on. And I started walking towards the state police squad car. He shagged ass. He took off. He didn't want to go tell the state police that he was police. He did the same thing with Dan, the head of security at Green Mountain Transit. He was stalking me. He was over on the sidewalk next to the state building, across from the federal building. And I walked up to Dan and was pointing at him. And boy, he couldn't turn around and do a 180 right back to the pods. They gave him a bed at the pods so that he had an alibi for just constantly, coincidentally bumping into me and following me around Church Street. Many of the videos and audio that I have of him, he's perfectly lucid. So then they started having him act like he was like schizophrenic, or I don't know what he was supposed to be. He would talk to people that weren't there, lay down on the sidewalk, just act a fool. And they have many of them doing that. And real schizophrenics have lesions, so when they speak, and they're not speaking directly to a person in response, they're speaking to, it has to do with their schizophrenia. They have a speech impediment, and the words just don't make sense. So they're there to smear my father, who's military, and they ultimately work for many of these people at DHS, like the Goldwaters, are high-ranking military who are trying to do an in-run around a proper court-martial.